sLivko is an apple. All right, guys. Spawning in the top left position of the map that is Bel'Shir Vestige. We do have our red Zerg player. It is, I'm pretty sure sLivko recently became Roxas, but it is sLivko. I was wondering what the team logo that was set for him is. It's Virtuous Pro VP, I guess, but as far as I know, he's not on. Maybe I'm thinking of a different VP player that recently switched to Roxas, but we'll have to see. And spawning in the bottom right position as the blue Terran player. He's got 2 kills so far. Can he get a third one? It is Millennium's Dayshi. I didn't do a zoom in for sLivko, so sorry. How do I change player colors? Sorry to interrupt. Well, team colors still works, but if you use team colors in this map, it actually makes everyone yellow. So you can't use team colors. you gotta go by the colors they were given when they were thrown into this world. I gotta say, I really love that. I'm gonna keep mentioning this, that I love how we're throwing in these adjustments, these enhancements for the next season of RSL, using GameHeart, of course, being able to get these sick wide zooms as far as being able to view things on the map goes. Such a wide range of vision possibilities. My middle click is like weird, so you can still see my mouse in the center. But it does look like sLivko is going to go for that 15 hash. Very standard. I almost just want to cast the whole game like this. But, well. Dayshi opening up with the barracks. Pretty standard. He actually has not gone for a gas just yet. Could we see a similar timing that we saw in game number 1? Actually, it looks like he would have already taken his gas. I think Dayshi's just going to go for a 1 barracks fast expand. Pretty standard as far as Wings of Liberty builds go. Most Terran players choosing to go Command Center first in Heart of the Swarm. Very interesting. We will have to see what he wants to do, though. sLivko is getting together his drone count now with that spawning pool on the way. And Dayshi, he is going to be now taking his expansion. Very standard. Nothing unusual at all here. And as we can see, I love this. There's even this information in the bottom right. We can see the army supply of the players. We can also see the units lost tab as well as their incomes. So once that first meal hits the field now, we will see Dayshi get that inba income. But no gas actually taken just yet for our Terran player. So a little curious what his goals are. Now he's finally taking a refinery. Let's see if he's going to take another one as well. Hatchery is about to finish up for sLivko. He has taken a gas geyser, so we could see some aggression out of our Zerg player here, and this is where things could get a little bit tricky. SCV is going out to scout now for Dayshi. He will be able to see what exactly sLivko is up to, but the question is it really going to affect his build? He's only chosen to take 1 assimilator, and this pretty much means, I guess, 1 refinery, that Dayshi wants to go for a fast third, and yeah, he has the SCV position, he has the resources, and he will start that. It's a little unusual to see the resources in the bottom, but I do like the way that the scoreboard is set up. We can, of course, see this is a best of 7, and that Dayshi is currently up 2-0, thanks to this wonderful overlay from GameHeart. And, well, first command center is complete. The question is sLivko going to find a way to punish this? He's mined only 100 gas. He's just going to start Zergling speed and get on with his life. So it does not look like sLivko wants to actually go for any kind of aggression. He could go for a big speedling follow-up to this. The factory is going to be quite late, considering that Dayshi has chosen to go for only 1 gas. That actually increases the time by double as far as how long it takes to start that factory. So he is definitely going to be hurting a little bit in terms of getting that resource setup going. But now dropping those mules, we do have a pretty standard macro follow from both players. Lots of drones on the way for sLivko. Of course, once he saturates his natural and his main base completely, this is where we could see him try to get aggressive around the same time that speed would finish. He has 2 overlords on the way, which will complete right around the same time this inject is done, which is a very important thing to note, since it is going to be able to give him quite a bit of unit production. But instead, he's going to get a 3rd base. Not unusual at all. 2 Zerglings are on the way. We could see a couple more in case he anticipates some sort of timing, but 3rd hatchery is coming in now. We have more drones being produced, and, well, Dayshi, he's just kind of rolling along. Does have that bunker. I like the positioning here. He will be able to cover the ramp as well as the mineral line in case anything does run amok. But barracks going to lift off. We're going to have some Hellion production and 2 barracks additionally. Curious how many tech labs we're going to get here in case he wants to go for fast combat shield and stim, or possibly just fast stim and reactors on these barracks, which tends to be a pretty standard thing as far as this matchup goes. But Speedlings now making their way across the field for sLivko. This really isn't a number of Speedlings that can cause any problems. He's probably just going to try to get some map scouting information. We see a pretty nice Overlord spread for our Zerg player here. Kind of spawning up pretty much anywhere that drops are going to be able to go. Taking the tower is always a wise thing to do. And the Hellions beginning to push out now for Dayshi. He is going to try to put on a tiny bit of aggression here. Or at least scouting with these Hellions. But we do have a Roach Horn coming in now for sLivko. He's going to add on 2 Evolution Chambers and a Spine Crawler, which will give him a bit of walling capabilities. There's nothing here for these Hellions to kill at the third. So he might be able to... nice little block on that Creep Tumor. Not bad at all. Double Engineering Bait is going to be the follow-up for our Millennium Terran player. He's got that crazy SCV production rolling. We can actually see in the Workers tab. He is going to be catching up pretty damn quickly with that 3 SCV at a time production. But 1-1 is also going to start for sLivko. So these upgrades are going to be very evenly timed for both of these players. Dayshi has just enough resources to start his 1-1. So we should see that begin. And yeah, it's going to be close enough between these two players that it doesn't actually matter what they are getting. Hellion Marine production continuing. I love this. You can see which units are being made on the barracks. So awesome. So cool. The technology that we have today in today's crazy world. But yeah, Hellions making their way across the field. We do have the creep spread going for sLivko. Not quite as fast as he could be pushing it, but he's doing a pretty decent job. It is spread over to the third base, which is what's most important for defending in the early phases of the mid-game. We have not really even hit the 10-minute mark yet. So Hellions diving in towards the third. Isn't going to be able to get any of these drones. He is trying to run them away. The Hellions not going to engage too far. He has a couple more Hellions going up to rendezvous with those. We do now also have the Lair on the way. And Starport for Dayshi. These are all very standard things. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. Should see a couple more barracks go up for Dayshi pretty soon, though. He's floating a little bit of minerals. This is what you want to put it towards. Could see an armory startup as well as we get closer to that 1-1 completing, but we actually have sLivko realizing to say, okay, you're starting to take the gas there, so you're probably getting your barracks infrastructure set up now. Nothing unusual. Baneling Nest coming in for our Zerg player, as well as a lot of Zerglings. So we could see some kind of mid-game timing here. He could be expecting that Dayshi will go for his stim timing with his bio, and he says, okay, well, I want to have Banelings. I want to have a good number of Zerglings available to be able to deal with this. But nothing concrete just yet. Dayshi is just hanging in there. He's got a good Hellion count. And the most important thing is you want to keep these available on the field that you can just kind of understand and recognize whether or not your opponent's going to come at you with any units. But Dayshi clears out the left side. Is he going to take the third there? Yes, it looks like it. And at the same time, he's pushing out with some mines and Marines. We saw him favor those on Fruitland, and coming up with a couple of these medevacs as well is our Millennium Terran player. The Hellions getting caught a little bit. Roaches are pushing out as well for sLivko, but with the stimmed bio prepared, he has stimmed. He's trying to use it sparingly. He has not actually stimmed yet. Very smart, not being baited into that. Of course, doesn't want to injure his own units. I'd like to see a scan. Try to clean up this creep tumor, but he is going to be pushing across the creep, and now sLivko can actually see pretty much everything about this army. The Banelings are about to complete. He needs to back up. Ooh, a couple great detonations here for sLivko. That should be enough to hold this attack off, but the reinforcement Marines are charging in. Is Dayshi going to be able to put on a lot of damage here? He actually does not have his 2-2 started yet, neither of these players, so no upgrade advantage. Both players are 1-1, although I will say the Roaches do not have any attack upgrades, just based on the situation of this game. And I gotta say, he's trying to move in with a drop these 3 Marines. Not gonna be able to do too much in the main base. We have Hydralisks on the way for our Zerg player, and well, 4th hatchery is complete. This is something that Dayshi really wants to do some damage towards. He wasn't able to actually hurt the economy of sLivko. And sLivko, of course, once he gets into this full macro mode, this is where Zerg becomes so hard to deal with. Drop shut down again. And in terms of supply, we actually have a pretty nice lead for Dayshi. sLivko. And that's also in part due to the Roaches chewing up a little bit of supply earlier. But now Hydralisks. These guys are so strong. He is moving out. He's getting the muscular augments. That's going to be the Hydralisk speed upgrade before he gets the Hydralisk range. And this is kind of interesting because he wants to be a little bit more mobile. His creep spread has not been perfect, to say the least. He's managed to spread it reasonably well, but of course it's just not covering enough of the map that he can really get around with his Hydras. They're not the most mobile units off of creep, but a lot of Banelings on the way for sLivko. Actually really curious, does he have that Baneling speed? Yes, and this is going to be so crucial in trying to get the damage done that is necessary to beat Dayshi. Is he going to be able to do a lot of damage with this attack? This could possibly be all in if he doesn't do crippling amounts of damage with this. We do have a Widowmine here to try to pick off a couple of these Banelings ahead. He will be able to shut down 2 of them. This is such a huge attack. Is he going to be able to do enough damage to put himself in a position to win this game and possibly take a game for CIS? Will the European Terran prevail? The Banelings getting a couple of solid connections, but is it going to be enough? The Marines are beginning to really roll into these Hydralisks, but the Banelings might just get enough good connections here. He takes out the majority of the forces. The third base for Dayshi is in a lot of danger. The Hydralisks begin to run in with the Zergling support, and now a couple of Marines and Marauders trying to stream forward from the reinforcing barracks to try to help out here, but how many SCVs are going to die? Baneling's getting some great detonations on those SCVs, and right now we have a good number of the workers killed so far. For sLivko, he's killed 21 SCVs so far in this game, as you can see, and right now a lot of reinforcements moving around the map, and he is just trying to blow everything up, preparing possibly for any kind of counter drops, any aggression that can come from Dayshi, but Dayshi hasn't really been able to bring the heat at all this game. The drone saturation looking great all game for sLivko, sitting on 80 drones very comfortably. Doesn't really need to produce any more workers as far as that goes, because right now he really did a good job of thinning out Dayshi's worker count, at least for the saturation wise, but Dayshi does have enough SCVs to still be in this game. It's not over yet, and the supply is getting closer and closer as our Millennium Terran player prepares to move out once again. He does have that 2-2 upgrade, so important. +1 range attack has just completed for our Zerg player, but he's +2 Carapace is way far away. The upgrade advantage definitely in Dayshi's favor. Is this going to be enough to turn things, though? He's getting into engagement. The Hydralisks have a great arc on this Terran army, but there's no roaches to take. The Banelings coming in. The Marines taking a lot of damage. The Hydralisks might barely be able to push him back, but no, the Bio prevails just enough to be able to shut this army down of sLivko, and this is where things can get really, really dicey for our Zerg player. He is moving in, he is scanning. We'll have to see if the reinforcements are going to be able to come in time. He is beginning to be able his Banelings as the Bioforce moves in towards the 4th base. The drones will have to evacuate, and he'll be able to take those down, but as we can see, the Banelings are preparing. This is going to be everything right now. He needs to basically completely shut this Terran force down, somehow save that base, and oh, here we go. He is beginning to move his forces forward. No, he's just going to wait. He doesn't want to risk too much here trying to stop this. Dayshi will be able to pick this hatchery off, and the flank is coming in for sLivko. He is going to go for the full surround here on this Terran army. Is it going to be enough? A lot of Banelings connecting, but a lot of reinforcements are already available for Dayshi. The Hydralisks taking out the Medivacs. In the meantime, the reinforcements coming in to fight off these Zerglings. There's just so much going on at once, and I'm so glad we can see it all at once. But it does look like Dayshi is just, he can't stop him. He's doing too much. He's pumping out 10 Marines, 2 Marauders, 4 Hellbats at a time, and double Medivacs. The supply right now, 127 for our Terran player, is looking so strong right now. And while there is a hatchery on the right side complete, he lost all those drones. The drone count is only 62 right now for sLivko, and these Hellbats just roasting these Zerglings alive. Dayshi at the meanwhile has a great wall set up at his third to defend against future attacks. No 4th command center that I can tell of, but at this point, I'm not so sure if he is going to need it. Hive is on the way for sLivko, but this is the part where things can get a little bit tricky. He's got a lot of units in production, but the problem is he needs to be building a lot of drones. He does have 8 of them on the way, but those are not going to pay for themselves in time to stop this next attack coming up from sLivko. Coming up from Dayshi. He's just done so much damage. He's even that workers killed count, and now here are the Banelings. It looks like we could have a bit of an engagement here. He is going to begin to step forward. The Banelings are coming in from the left side as well as the front, but is it going to be enough? He's going to need some great connections. He is not able to get them, and there is the GG from sLivko, and Dayshi is going to be victorious. In game number 3, we have a very nice 3-0 start here for our Millennium Terran player, coming in representing Team Europe pretty damn well against the Commonwealth of Independent States of Eastern Europe. So very nice play here from Dayshi. I gotta say, he is controlling like a boss. He took so much damage earlier on, but he bounced back immediately, and his reinforcing units being able to pick off the army of sLivko was just too much, so I'm very impressed with how he has been playing this so far. The score is currently 3-0 for Europe, and if Dayshi gets this next win, that's it. That's the first match. It's a double elimination bracket from what I'm aware. This is a very small preseason event before the RSL 5, so as far as I'm aware, basically it's a round robin. Every team plays each other twice, and I think it seeds into a bracket. So we are going to have to see just how much damage EU can do to CIS's standings right now at the beginning of this match. So don't get anywhere, guys. We are going to be jumping into the next game as soon as possible. I'm Nathanias. Thank you guys for tuning in. You're watching the RSL gNations.